Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video on my channel, Hairliciously. In today's video, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's actually been happening with my current hair loss situation. So if you guys are new to the channel, I've had 2 hair transplants in South Korea at Motion Clinic. The first one was back in 2016 with about 1,700 grafts via FUE implanted into the frontal portion of the hairline and temples. Second one was in 2019, which was also done into the hairline to add more density and also to kind of lower the hairline a little bit more. So in total, I've had around 3,500 grafts via FUE into the hairline and temples. I've been taking oral finasteride, topical minoxidil, microneedling, pyrilutamide, vitamin supplements, and also exercising ever since my first hair transplant. And for the past few years, it's actually been holding up pretty well. Nothing crazy in terms of shedding or miniaturization. Until recently, I unfortunately started noticing an increased level of shedding and also some hair thinning into the hairline and also kind of like on the sides, on the mid scalp. The sides of my head have kind of been my main concern because there's not too much that you can do. And because I do have some grade of retrograde alopecia, that's basically, thinning on the sides of the head. And the only real solution that I was able to kind of come up with was to simply cut the hair short on the sides. And I've been, cutting it down using a #1 clipper. And I've actually had to get a haircut every 2 to 3 weeks because the longer the hairs on the sides get, the more noticeable it is in terms of thinning. So I actually took a few photos of my hair under direct light. And I am aware that, direct light makes your hair look way worse than it actually is. But because I was also noticing, additional shedding and what felt like hairs were thinning, I decided to take some photos to see a better visual of what it actually looked like under direct light. And the other thing is, my wife has also been telling me that my scalp looked to be more see-through and transparent. And I've also noticed this in the frontal portion of the hairline despite being in various, lighting environments. And I don't know if you guys can see, but I did take some photos here. So this is the photo I took a few weeks ago in my bathroom. Nothing crazy as far as the lighting goes, but you can definitely see thinning about 1.5 to 2 inches past the original hairline, which is where my original hairline used to be before my hair transplant. And it's definitely far more noticeable and transparent to the naked eye. Here is another angle, and you can clearly see the white parts of my scalp. And I bring this up because I don't see this much transparency when I part the hairs in the back of the scalp or in other areas. And so, this next photo here is another side shot of the right side of my head. And you can also see a lot of the thinning hairs, which are due to retrograde alopecia. And like I mentioned earlier, nothing's really been helping in trying to bring back the density. So, it's kind of been a bit frustrating to say the least. This is the right side of my head. And once again, you can see the thinness and lack of density on kind of like the areas above the ear and even towards the hairline. The hairs past the ear is somewhat holding on to, the regular density. But it's just that, the frontal region on the sides above the ears where the hairs are, they're just very weak and thinning. And if I were to pull out a hair or two on the side using a tweezer or something, it actually comes out a lot easier than pulling a hair on the mid scalp or in the crown area. So it just tells you that the hairs are that much weaker. The crown area seems to be doing okay. I really don't have much thinning going on, which is definitely a good sign. But I do have to keep an eye on it in case it starts to go, because the crown is gonna, it's an area that is going to eat the most grafts when it comes to getting a hair transplant and adding in density. It's also a lot more difficult due to the spiraling in the crown. Here's another view of the mid-scalp and the crown area, and you can see the thinness in the mid-scalp once again. And lastly, another big concern that I really haven't mentioned to you guys is this bald patch that I've acquired about a month or 2 ago. This is on the back right side of my scalp, and it's been itching for a bit, and it's, I've just been kind of scratching it, and now, at one point, there was a scab, and because of this constant itching, this has actually led to this bald spot that is very unsightly. I'm not exactly sure what is causing this, but I feel like it's been some type of fungal problem. So I started using 2% ketoconazole cream to see if it's going to be helpful in, reducing the shedding. But it did get rid of the itching, but I do have to wait to see if the new hairs are going to grow out. hopefully it's not going to be a permanent bald spot. And I'm pretty sure that it's temporary. I've been researching a lot of stuff online, and the hair loss is basically due to constant itching and scalp irritation. But I did want to show you guys how it looked and what I've actually been dealing with lately. So that's kind of like what I've been dealing with, and I do realize that it's been nearly 10 years since my very first hair transplant. I do want to say that I've been very fortunate to have been able to go through 2 hair transplants and also be on medication without any adverse side effects for the past few years. And looking back in the grand scheme of things, there's other people out there who are suffering from far greater levels of alopecia. So in that sense, I'm very still thankful. I don't obviously want to come across as being someone who is very over analytical or anal, because I know that a lot of you guys would still love to be in my shoes and have the hairline and the density that I have. But at the same time, everyone is different, and we still all go through this journey of hair loss together. And for me, I'm still not ready to give up. And because I've noticed continued thinning and miniaturization, it's actually going to be time for me to kind of step up to the big boys in terms of hair loss treatment. So I've been kind of looking in towards oral dutasteride because, it does block far more DHT than it does with finasteride. It has a relatively safe profile. There's a lot of studies on dutasteride backing this up, especially from Korea and Southeast Asia, Japan, where it's actually FDA approved for the treatment of hair loss. The other drug that I plan on taking is going to be a lower dose of oral minoxidil. I'm likely going to be taking 2.5 milligrams of oral minoxidil daily. I've seen a lot of good improvement in terms of density on people who have switched over from topical to oral minoxidil. And as you guys know, I've also done a lot of incredible transformation videos on people who've been on oral minoxidil and have been hyper responders. It's done an incredible job at bringing back the density. And the thing is, whenever you're ingesting medication that gets metabolized by the liver, it's going to work far better. And for minoxidil especially, if you don't have the specific enzyme that is needed to convert minoxidil into minoxidil sulfate in the hair follicles, you're not going to be a good responder. And the only way for you to reap the benefits is, especially if you like the enzyme, is to take it orally. So hopefully I will be able to bring back the density in the mid-scalp and the hairline area, as well as the sides of my head. I haven't really figured out exactly where I'll be sourcing my dutasteride and oral minoxidil from, but it's going to likely have to be through one of the well-known companies in the US where you guys just have to do a quick, virtual appointment with the doctor, and then they're going to, easily prescribe you the medication. I don't think my primary doctor is going to be able to prescribe me dutasteride and oral minoxidil, only because I did mention it to him once, and he didn't really seem too fond of it. And he wasn't fond of prescribing a medication that wasn't FDA approved, at least in the US, for treating hair loss. So that's that. I will let you guys know exactly where I'll be getting my medication from, and also once I do start taking it, if I'm going to be experiencing any adverse side effects or not. I'm likely not, in my opinion, but I also have not tried oral dutasteride or even oral minoxidil. So this is definitely going to be something new, and I will keep you guys posted on my next journey. But that's basically the update that I wanted to let you guys know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of my current hair loss situation. Obviously, right now it doesn't look as bad, but under direct light, it actually looks far worse. If you also switched over from, finasteride to oral dutasteride and oral minoxidil, let me know if you've seen any improvement, and I would love to see and hear about your experiences in terms of side effects and also improved density and things like that. So please do leave me a comment in the comment section below. But that's basically all I had for today. Thanks for all of your support, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.